The White House this morning is growing nervous about the upcoming No King's Day 2.0 protests scheduled for October 18th in just 3 days this Saturday. Over 10 million Americans and really people across the globe are set to march on the streets, set to take action to make their voices heard in protest of this administration. And now the White House and congressional leaders are growing more and more nervous as No King's Day 2.0 comes closer because the number of people that are set to protest is growing. The number of individuals organizers expect out on the streets could exceed 10 million. And to put that into perspective, that would be a record-breaking protest for American protests. It would be easily in the top 5 of most attended protests in American history. And while the White House and top executive officials, along with those in Congress, continue to repeat this misnomer, this lie that the No King's Day protest is being funded by Antifa, that the individuals going are going as part of a, quote, hate rally. And now what you're seeing is over the past 24 hours, a shift as the White House and White House officials start to attack protesters who have the same signs, essentially. Donald Trump said that it seems like a paid-for effort when every individual in the crowd has similar signs. Last night, Pam Bondi went on Sean Hannity's show and made similar remarks. But what we're seeing right now is essentially a shift. We're seeing a shift in terms of the way the White House and Republicans on Capitol Hill are reacting to this upcoming protest. No King's Day 1.0 was never, no one reacted to No King's Day 1.0 like this. It was relatively kind of quiet. It was focused around the president's birthday. It was focused on the fact that there was going to be this military parade. That was the focus for Republicans and for the White House. But now, No King's Day 2.0 comes at a very precarious time for this White House. It comes as we are entering now into 2 weeks in a government shutdown that could last much longer. Right now, both sides are really dug in and refusing to budge. Now, people say, well, the government is shut down, but I'm still kind of going about my day-to-day life. Yes, most people are not directly impacted by the government shutdown yet. And the reason why is because the longer a government shutdown goes, the worse it is for the American people. Right now, today was supposed to be the day air traffic controllers and other federal workers who are working around the clock, essential employees, were supposed to receive a paycheck. Both working employees, but also furloughed federal workers were supposed to receive a paycheck today. Many will not receive a paycheck. The only ones who will, Coast Guard members and members of the military, due to this rearranging of funds that's happening within the executive branch. And so they're getting a paycheck, but millions of federal workers today are not getting a paycheck. So this is the first week that a paycheck is missed. You're going to start seeing more and more federal employees furloughed, more and more federal employees call off. And guess where they're going to go? I'm hearing from many federal employees that they're taking to the streets. They're going out on No King's Day. They're making their voice heard this Saturday because they want to show that this administration is not treating them correctly by firing them, by furloughing them, by allowing us to continue in this long government shutdown. It's only hurting them. And while soon, the longer the shutdown goes, it'll impact things like WIC benefits. It'll impact things like SNAP benefits. Right now, SNAP benefits may run out at the end of October for some places across the country if the shutdown continues. And so we're going to see how the White House navigates this precarious situation. And clearly, during a government shutdown where there's political pressure on both Democrats and Republicans to reopen the government, to have a protest of 10 million plus people across the globe demanding that Donald Trump do something different is not good optics for this White House. And while now they're growing nervous, I'll be on the streets reporting live from the Washington, D.C. protest. So I encourage you all to come join me. And I hope to meet many of you there. If you want to support my work, allow me to continue doing this on the ground work, subscribe by clicking the button below or send a one-time donation via Venmo to Aaron-Parnas. Now, meanwhile, Vice President J.D. Vance is drawing significant backlash because he responded. If you recall, yesterday there were these young Republican text messages praising Hitler, joking about gas chambers, rape, and more. Well, he said that, you know what, stop the pearl clutching, essentially. That what Jay Jones, the Democratic candidate for Attorney General in Virginia, his violent text messages were far worse. So instead of condemning both text messages were horrific. Both text messages were bad. One's not necessarily worse than the other. And instead of condemning both, he just condemned Jones's, kind of said, stop the pearl clutching over these young Republicans who are the future of the Republican Party. The Department of Homeland Security, we're now learning, that has spent $51 million in your money, taxpayer dollars, on ads thanking Donald Trump for securing the border, making it the most expensive political style ad campaign of 2025. Attorney General from Arizona Chris Mays has threatened legal action against House Speaker Mike Johnson for refusing to seat Representative-elect Adelita Grijalva, accusing him of violating the Constitution by denying Arizona's 7th Congressional District its representation. Lawmakers from both parties are voicing growing frustration with the Trump administration for withholding key details about recent U.S. military strikes on alleged Venezuelan drug smuggling boats, with members demanding unedited footage, legal justifications, and intelligence behind the operations amid concerns that there are growing civilian casualties on these boats, that they're targeting just like fishermen, not necessarily drug smuggling boats. Today, the Supreme Court is set to hear a case that could upend voting rights as we know it. The case involves the Voting Rights Act Section 2, and whether or not, when drawing maps across the country, lawmakers can consider race as a factor to draw congressional districts. All signs point to the Supreme Court gutting the Voting Rights Act. If the Supreme Court does that, Republicans will be able to successfully pick up anywhere from 15 to 20. Some analysts predict up to 30 seats in the next redistricting cycle, as black majority districts like Texas's 18th congressional district and Alabama's 2nd congressional district would be essentially eliminated. We're learning now that Meta has removed a Facebook group used to track ICE agents in Chicago after a direct request from the Department of Justice. Los Angeles County has declared a state of emergency in response to federal immigration raids, allowing officials to offer rent relief, legal aid, and other assistance to residents financially impacted by the crackdown. The Trump administration overnight revoked visas of 6 foreign nationals after they posted social media comments criticizing conservative activist Charlie Kirk. The State Department said it had, quote, no obligation to host foreigners who celebrate heinous acts, and published screenshots of posts from individuals in Argentina, Brazil, Paraguay, Mexico, Germany, and South Africa. Officials say that the move was part of a broader effort to enforce immigration laws and defend what they call our American values. And finally, a Florida judge has issued a restraining order against Republican Representative Corey Mills after a former girlfriend accused him of threatening to release sexually explicit videos of her. The order bars Mills from contacting the woman who said he attempted to use the videos to intimidate her following their breakup. Folks, that's all the news right now. As always, if you want to support my work, make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe today. And I'll see you this evening for another update, so stay tuned for more. Hey folks, Aaron Parnas here. Thank you so much for watching The Parnas Perspective. Please consider subscribing to support our work as we grow this independent news media entity into something that rivals mainstream every single day. Thanks so much, and I'll see you soon.